Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and my glasses are reflecting shit off the screen, so I'm gonna take those off. Holy shit, I have eyes. This is the big 4,000 subscriber special. God, we destroyed our goal, by the way. We reached this, like, very early of April. Our goal was to get to 4,000 by my birthday, which is May 26th, and yeah, y'all fucking destroyed our fucking goal, so thank you very much for that. Holy shit, we're really getting up there, like getting up to the point where when I say something that's a slightly bit off tune, people find out about it, and oh god, that's been fucking with me a little bit lately, but we will be talking about that later on. But without further feckin' ado, and this is Talking Back, and what we do on Talking Back is, of course, talk back. So let's start with this first question and the recommendation of AJ, how to start the episode with a good boy. So if y'all want to see a good boy, I'd love to, but Spoofy's been a bit of a bad boy. Fucking, I had to try to trim his nails, and you might have seen this if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, but I think Spoofy is trying to be Zorro because he scratched me in a perfect Z formation. But yeah, I got all kinds of scratches and shit all over the place, so I'm not really digging that. So if you want to start the episode off with a good boy, then look all the times on Instagram where he's being a good boy, because I update on there quite a bit with a lot of Spoofy stuff. But hey, Spoof, I'll show you a good boy. This is Ross. He's been coming with me to work lately. He's been kind of my stress relief, because my pills just aren't working. Can't afford quality medication, so yay. Oh, you made a coffee account? Ah, so did I. Nice. Well, I have a coffee account. I've had someone give me coffee on there. It was freaking awesome. McCurdy1CV4 says, "Whoa, I just realized that the thumbnail isn't using the title asset." Well, no shit. This comment is about, it was on, I think, the Lagoon Lounge 3 episode. Have I only done one of those? Shit, I need to play that. But yeah, or is it 2? I think there's 2. I don't fucking remember. I've played it only a little bit. I know that much. No, it was... Fuck it. Move on. Yeah, for Lagoon Lounge, the actual title asset for Lagoon Lounge, where it says the title, is kind of fucking boring, and I couldn't find the font to imitate it, and it's a bit of a chore to fucking get the title asset off of something if there is no transparent background PNGs available. So unless it's worth it, like for extracurricular activities with the ball swoosh and all that other stuff, or I wind up having to make custom ones that I usually try to stick to them, at least at first I did, but then I wound up just switching them to ones that I thought would be cool. So like the one for repeat, for a while, the actual repeat title asset is just sort of it just says the word, and then there's like kind of a swoosh, I think. Oh, it's kind of like faded on the sides. And it's not really all that impressive, so I tried to find one that was kind of plain. I used cooltext.com, try to generate my own, and that's where you get, like, in the older thumbnails, that, like, boring, gray, like, Roman Colosseum looking shit. I didn't really like that, so I wound up switching it here recently, and I think it works a lot better. But for ones that the title thing is actually kind of interesting, like Blackgate or Major Minor was one that I actually worked really hard to replicate. I couldn't get the font of the actual title asset, but I found the actual gear that was used to make the original title asset. I found the gear by itself and was able to put it in that way. But for like Blackgate or extracurricular activities where the title asset is defined and pretty interesting by itself, I either get Bree to, or sometimes I do, go in. I don't have Photoshop, but go in and try to get it out of the back. And that's also something I'm doing. We explains the title asset change in the thumbnail for Echo. Is I did use the original title asset for a long time, and the original title asset is just like brown thin letters that no one can see on a thumbnail. And I was thinking maybe I could put the white background on it, but it would just sort of be a blob. So I found an old title asset that actually popped out a little better, and so I'm using that now. Fun little behind the scenes facts for you. I know it may or may not be interesting, but I'm planning on this, since it's the 4K special, to be a little more explainy, because I don't know, maybe people give a shit. I don't fucking know. You should try to do that one mix of Darius' voice and the pirate's voice you do. You can try to do it back. Oh my god, I haven't heard that voice in so long.
A Darius pirate voice, because you're a pirate, be like this stuff, and Darius voice is like this.
So bad.
How do I mix the two? You're instead of like nasty, filthy Steelos. No, this is so fucking dumb. No chill keep me from the delicious bounty that awaits. Fuck it. The voice is so stupid.
Yes, it is.
Jesus Christ. I can't do it. I can't fucking do it.
I
It's
can't
too
do
dumb.
this.
It's too fucking stupid.
It's the fucking worst. Oh my god, it's so bad. Like, I could never do those, like, reacting to my old video things, because, oh my god, it would be so bad. It would just be me, like, cringing the whole time. Oh god, I don't even want to do it. Like, I don't want to do anything right now. I just want to curl up in a ball and just vanish. I just want to fade away. I don't even know how to do that anymore, because first of all, that pirate voice was fucking ridiculous. Yar me. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Okay, but that's the voice y'all picked, so... And this fucking comment is talking about the nice voice acting. Oh god, I'm crying. I'm crying because I'm in pain. Don't I have him up right? Yeah, there he is. He was waiting. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. Dildry. No, I'm not fucking doing it. I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking do it. I can't do that voice. And this is the regular Darius voice. And you gotta mix in the stuff. DeAndre Woody says, how the fuck did I get you from a PewDiePie video? And why did I watch the entire video? Nice voice acting, yar! It wasn't even close to the original voice, which doesn't matter because the original voice sucked too. Yar! God! Oh. Well, thank you for the compliment on the nice voice acting. I don't know how you got here from a PewDiePie video, but I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you watched the whole thing. Gotta get that viewer retention money in. But thank you. You gave me a few extra cents this month, and I appreciate that. Mute says... Mute says... That's some serial killer type stuff, watching a pizza cook. Like, really, what kind of patience? Low-key walled creep me out. Yeah, I'm not a fan of standing there watching shit cook either. I will say that I used to, though. Back in the day, when I used to live in Admire, I lived in this like double wide trailer that was really fucking old. And we had one of those old microwaves that had like the dial on it, and it was one of those that like emitted like radiation and shit, and I would stand right in front of it and just be like, oh, look at that's it. And every once in a while I think back to those days and I think, you know, that's probably why. Am I cool yet? Spencer, the Spencer voice is the Sissel voice. Come on, you know this. It's the same voice I just did. Rhino Johnson says for the next talking back, do you have Super Smash Bros? If so, what do you mean? I can only imagine what Shirokoi thinks of that fucking voice, because I have no belief in my fucking head that that is what he meant. Feel free to ask him, though. He's on Twitter. Yes, I have Smash Bros. I have 3 different versions of Smash Bros. I have the original, I have Melee, and then I have Smash for the 3DS. I don't have Brawl because I don't have a Wii. I technically have access to my brother's Wii U, so I could get Brawl. I actually like Brawl better than Melee. I think Melee was way too fucking heavy. And people take it way too goddamn seriously. And Solid Snake's in Brawl. Fuck yeah. But since I played all 4, I've played Smash Bros. Since it fucking came out. I've been playing it for 18 years. Because it came out in 2000, yeah? I believe so. My Smash 1's, I'm gonna give you a wild stab at what my main has been since the beginning. Can you guess? Is it any fucking question what the hell? It was Rob. I love that robot guy. His charged up beam is... No, fuck it. No, Link, dude! I'm Decker Link! How the fuck would it not be? I love playing as Link. In the original one, I've always played as this color, too, by the way. This is not just like, oh, whatever. This has been the fucking... In the N64 one, it was more like a white, purplish. In the first one, I mained as Link. In Melee, I tend to switch around a little bit. Sometimes it's Roy, a little bit of Link, sometimes young Link. I've been mixing in a little Mario in there even. But in Brawl, it was definitely Toon Link, and in Smash 4, it's definitely still Toon Link. So if and you want to play Smash for the 3DS online sometime, just let it be known scheduling with me is a fucking nightmare, as one poor motherfucker can attest to, who has been trying... who keeps being like, hey, you want to play Smash? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to if I fucking had the time, because I can't play it at work because the internet is like one of those you gotta like sign in things, and I can't figure that shit out on the 3DS. And when I get home, sometimes I got shit to do, and I felt so bad. This one time I said I was going to when I got home, and then I got home and I forgot, and oh my god, I felt so bad. I felt so fucking bad. But yeah, if you want to play Smash 3DS with me, just let me know. And if I can, we'll figure it out. Next motherfucking question.
Leon Lyman says, okay then, I will make a novel evolving you and several different characters from different game. I know exactly how to do it. Hee 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 hee.
Fucking, that would be so interesting. Like we talked about last time when I listed off all the who the best boys were and girls a couple times. It really fucking would be amazing if someone put all those characters and Jack, my persona, in there and made some sort of story out of it. I've been almost thinking about doing it myself, but the last thing I need is another fucking project. Holy shit. If you do it, or if anyone does it, let me fucking know, because I want to read that shit. Oh my god. Aiden Mori says, what the... Holy shit. Oh yeah. What inspired you to start the channel you have now with the content you currently put out? Maria's never yelled before, so I didn't exactly know how to fucking go. This all sort of happened by accident, really, because, I mean, I've been making videos since 2003, but since you specifically asked about this current crop, I'll skip all the shit that I was doing up until that point, because I've been doing fucking almost everything there was to do. But I started getting into doing video game stuff, and nothing was working. Nothing was really connecting with people, other than a few videos here or there. I'm gonna confess something to you guys, because it doesn't fucking matter anymore, and I don't know why I did it in the first place. But So, and it's not really a big fucking deal, but I did lie about something, and this was before, you know what, fucking, I'll just say it. So, when I recorded the first episode of Amorous, which isn't even out anymore, so you can't even verify it, so I don't even have to say this, but I'm going to. I explained that a friend of mine set up that game on my computer and told me to do an episode on it. This is just false. I would not trust anyone else, basically, except maybe Bri with my computer, let alone downloading random shit and telling me to record it on a channel. No. That is definitely not something that I would do. What actually wound up happening, and how I found Amorous, is MatPat did that game theory about dating sims, and he showed a brief clip from Amorous with the Kobe sex scene, where he was in his underwear, but he was like shit wiggling his ass at you. He showed that clip, made a joke like, do I censor this? I don't get it. And at that time, I definitely would not have called myself a furry. And even in those episodes, I said that I didn't consider myself one because I just didn't know much about the community at the time. I had a lot of the same misconceptions that a lot of other people do. And I'm gonna fucking blip this fucking image out of the way because it's like blocking a bunch of my face. You need to see more of that. I didn't consider myself a furry because like I said, I just had a lot of the same misconceptions that a lot of other people still do, and I didn't really think about it in a grander sense. There was one thing I knew, though, is that I enjoyed the adult content of that genre. And so when I saw that clip, I saw high-quality art and high-quality porn. So I looked it up, and I found which game it was, and I downloaded it. And so I played it by myself. I did the Seth route, and that's probably why his character is my favorite. Because I don't know if I did just the Seth route. I think I did. No, I think I did just do the Seth route. But yeah, I played it all the way through, and I was like, I just really liked it. I kept finding myself thinking, like, I want to write a story. I want to have a gay relationship in it, and just treat it like a normal fucking thing. Like, just have it be there, because instead of having it be the plot point, like, just have it be an aspect of the plot. So it's not such a novel thing. Like, it's a remarkably unremarkable thing. That it's a great thing. It's just as beautiful to me as any other form of love is. So I was just kind of thinking, like, I kind of want to write a story. I was thinking of all this stuff, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see what would happen if I played this on the channel, because none of the other games I was playing at the time was attracting any attention. I was playing like Kingdom Hearts and Paper Mario 2, some of my favorite games, but there was no audience. No one was watching. And I had been making videos since 2003, and this was 2016, I believe. So I had been making videos for 13 years for nobody. My family wasn't watching, my friends weren't watching, no one fucking cared. So I started playing Amorous on the channel partly because I really liked Seth's route, and and Jax's route was really good too. I might have played his, I don't remember honestly, but I really wanted to share the story because I knew that people who were looking up the game because of the porn aspect of it would probably find it. But I was hoping that if I played the game all the way through, you would see the story aspect of it. And then you'd have the payoff at the end where everyone goes fucking banana about the porn. Which they did. But that's another thing that I really didn't like. About that playthrough, in addition to the game, was that it really was disingenuous. I really didn't think I had played, if I had played all the routes before I started recording, which I believe I did now that I'm thinking about it, pretending that I hadn't seen it before really came across, I just fucking hated doing it. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't exactly know why I forced myself to pretend like I hadn't seen it before. Maybe it was so I could try to have that aspect of, well, if it goes badly, he didn't know what he was getting into. But yeah, I found the game myself because I saw a clip of it on Game Theory, and I thought it would be high quality stuff to jerk off to. That's honestly how I found Amorous. And then I wound up really liking the story of Seth and Jax. And so I wanted to share this story, and then once the updates started coming out, which took a while, which I believe the next update was Dustin, I didn't play any of the routes beforehand. Everything past the first 3 routes, I did honestly do blind, and that's kind of why I'm so fervent about playing all the future visual novels blind, because I really hated that knowing what's going to happen and trying to make some sort of investment in what's happening. If I'm going to be playing a game that I've already played before, I want it to be a part of the commentary, like, oh, this is what happened when I was playing this back then, or giving your thoughts on how it, from an aspect of already having played it. But I enjoy playing stuff for the first time, especially for a visual novel. You never can replicate the experience of reading a book for the first time, experiencing a story for the first time. And that's the experience I want to share. It's not only the story, but if you're watching me fucking play it, then I want to give you something more than just someone reading a story that they've already read before. Because not only will that make me want to do it more, but it'll hopefully make it more interesting to watch, and so on and so forth. Point being, what inspired me to get into it was the positive reception around Amorous. And the fact that people were not just coming for the porn, they were coming to be a part of the story, and people who had only seen the sex scenes were actually like, oh, the story's actually pretty good, and who is this weird-looking guy talking about it? So yeah, it was the positive reception, and then people recommending... at that time, people were mostly recommending repeat and extracurricular activities. And so I started playing those, and that's when I started to experience what a really good game was, what good writing was. And so once I started to branch out more into the visual novels as opposed to dating sims, my opinion started to sour on Amorous, and you know how that went. So, yeah. Long story short, what inspired me to do what I'm doing right now is accidentally really liking Amorous for the story after I tried to find it for the porn. And now we're here. Now that y'all have sent me so many recommendations for so many good games, and for the first time in, at that point, 13 years, now 15 years, people actually give a shit about anything I do, and that can be an intoxicating feeling, and I feel like that's something I need to be able to handle responsibly, and that's why I emphasize so much the idea of inclusivity and just trying to have a good time. You know, wanting to have fun with a game, not just playing it because I feel like it would get me the views, or it would, you know, putting out an episode because the game is riddled with porn. I'd rather play a game that's riddled with good fucking story, because y'all have shown me that that's what you're interested in, and it's really good. So the TLDR version is what inspired me to do what I'm doing right now. It's you guys just being awesome. And yeah, basically the first positive reception to a hobby of mine on a basis that I could actually believe that I've ever experienced. So yeah, thanks. And now we're at 4,000. So yeah, the top one is Papyrus. Ha! Someone did Papyrus. Yay!
Foxrite Productions says, "Hi everyone, co-creator TF Wright here. Just wanted to say thanks so much for such a great Let's Play. I love doing this voice.
It's annoying, but I love it.
The great and powerful Papyrus."
Yes, this is the very same TF Wright that emailed me, sending me the code to the Steam link or the whatever the fuck that got me to be able to play the Pirate's Fate, and that video has over 1,000 views on it, so I'm imagining a few if you liked it. So if you want to send appreciation their way, their channel's called Foxrite Productions. They got the trailer up on the site there. Get the game. It's looking to be pretty fucking cool. And yeah, thank you very much to TF Wright for sending me the link to the game, and for their wonderful fucking email, and just being very supportive. So thank you very much, and I look forward to playing further, of course, because I've already started, but Jesus, with the technicalities, goddamn. The Keeper says, "One more thing. It's the water. They're putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay!" Oh, it's ridiculous. I love it. I fucking love it. Oh, Jesus. I mean, that would explain a few things, wouldn't it? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. That would explain furries, though, wouldn't it? How they're... Is the same? This one comes from the Dragon Hat. Someone who has 250,000 fucking subscribers. God, that's intimidating right off the bat. This says, "Hey man, the voice of Rourke here. I'm glad you got a giggle out of the voice work for him. To give you an idea of the direction, he was described to be cold, calculating, and sinister. It was these three keywords which led me to take his voice lines slower and more drawn out. I really wanted you to imagine him breathing down your neck and being very deliberate about his words. Hope that helped." First of all, thank you very much, the Dragon Hat, for watching. I don't know if, like, the translator thinks someone sent you and was like, "Oh, this guy's making fun of you." I wasn't trying to make fun of the voice, for the record, and I responded to this comment kind of explaining it more, but he didn't respond, so I don't know if he actually saw it. But yeah, I was not trying to make fun of the Rourke voice. I really just find myself being very interested in picking apart voice delivery. Stuff like why a person says a certain thing, or just really delving into the specifics on how they do it. And that's why when I see this little tiny man, I think bunny, little tiny man, clothes that look way too fucking big for him, And he has this low, drawn out, very deliberate style of talking and speaking very, very slowly. You know, it's a contrast, and contrast is kind of where you get jokes. It's comparing, this thing is like this thing. This is how they're different. And that's like the basic fucking setup for a joke. And so when I see tiny little bunny, big fucking clothes, slow, deep voice, that's just funny. And so when I started laughing, I really tried to say in the video that I was not making fun of them. But it's probably just me, but when I see a comment like that, I highly doubt that they took offense. Like, they did not say, what the fuck, man, they didn't send me a message, like, nothing like that. They could have been a lot worse if they actually took what I did the wrong way. But I get intimidated with this shit because I'm like, I'm almost scared to comment on shit now, because people are like sending my shit to people, and I'm like, oh god. Because if you're around me a lot, you know, watching my videos, some of that can make sense, and then sometimes it doesn't. And I highly doubt that the Dragon Hat watches my videos regularly. So either they're like looking for videos of the Pirate's Fate and just finding them all to see what people thought of his voice delivery, which if you're like overly obsessed about what you do like me, you probably would. Or if someone sent them a link to the video and were either like, hey, check out this thing, this person said X about your voice, or maybe like, oh, they're taking the piss. I was not trying to make fun of anyone, and actually hearing about why Rourke got the voice that they did is actually very interesting to me. I did not think at the moment that he was, because we've only seen him for a little bit, that he was all that calculated and very particular. But in editing the episode and after reading this comment, I realized that he was speaking very much with this, I'm going to talk to you like I'm talking to you as if how I'm saying things and what I'm saying is going to put you in a way that I know will put you'll be in this way, so I can then respond to that. It's the people who will say something to get a deliberate reaction so that they can say something in response to that reaction that they already know is going to happen. Playing a game, essentially, with someone's emotions, and that is something that a very sinister, deliberate, calculating character would do. Especially Cold, like talking about abducting a child and indoctrinating them into the pirate lifestyle. Like, that is a very cold-hearted, dastardly fiend thing to do. So hearing more about the actual voice motivations in there is very interesting to me. So I definitely did not want to come across as disrespectful because I was laughing or because I was enjoying it. In a vacuum, if this was like a big badass like metal almost robot fucking character, not robot, but like if it was like a big scary looking villain that had that voice, it would not be funny. It would be noteworthy, but it wouldn't be funny. It wouldn't be laughing. The fact that that voice was coming out of a small guy wearing too big clothes was the reason it was funny, not the voice itself. So I'm sorry if it came across as disrespectful or that I was taking the piss. I wasn't, and thank you for explaining. It's actually very interesting to me, so thank you. And enjoy your way more subscriber success than me. Holy shit. I get scared when people that are noteworthy fucking say stuff to me. People that like have a lot of followers on Twitter or something. I get like nervous because I'm like, oh shit, I've incurred the wrath of those who actually have clout. I get worried. Nope Zero says, me and my friend want to make a furry novel named 32. Do you have any suggestions? That fucking voice, man. Okay, yes. I left when they on the actual comment this long ass fucking more well worded thing because when I'm typing, I'm way more eloquent than I am when I'm speaking. But I hit on these points, these basic points, and I wrote them down here so I don't forget them. I emphasized the importance of peer editing and proofreading to ensure that stuff sounds like it makes sense. Having other people see your shit, because sometimes you will say something or write something that sounds like it makes sense to you, but when someone else is like, what the fuck does, what is this? Like when I'm making my highlight compilations, or the best of, as they're about to be called, the best of Decker Link. I'm working on the March 2017 one right now. That I always run that by Bri when I have all the clips assembled, so that I can see which ones are worth keeping in and which ones are just funny to me. Because if they're just funny to me, then odds are they won't make a good best of compilation, because I'm not the only one watching me. There are other people, 4,000 of which is why I'm doing this. Then I made it relate to the next one, which is making the main character make sense. This one is very important, and it's also very difficult, because it depends on what kind of game you're making. So take a game like Extracurricular Activities. That game, the main character is kind of a chameleon of sorts. Not literally a chameleon, but that main character is basically supposed to be you. There are a few things about it, like story or plot-wise, that are already predetermined, but you get to make the name, you get to, I think I saw in future updates, you get to make what they look like, and you basically get to put yourself in that role, because there's not too much of another thing, framework put into it, so that you can more empathize with the role itself, because the whole idea of it, it's kind of a slice of life. The plot is more centered around the interaction with the characters as opposed to an overarching story. Then you get a game like Echo, where the main character is defined. Their name is Chase. You are playing as Chase. And even the idea of making choices is kind of questionable. Like, whether or not you're making those choices or whatever, it's really your experience of the story that is happening. But the emphasis is more on the story as opposed to the characters individually. So that's kind of where you're going from there. So you have to first decide which one of those you're going to go with, because if your main character is supposed to be someone that can be identified with as themselves, then you want to make those elements like that. Let them make their name, maybe have a character customization screen, stuff like that. Don't keep referencing the plot that got the character to the story, but more so let them bring themselves into it and just sort of make the background plot be there just to the point of getting you there. Don't make it important. Don't have shit come back from it, stuff like that. But if you want your main character to be a character that is more defined, then make the past important. Make it a part of the story. Don't let them change the visuals or the name. You have to decide one or the other, so that you know whether or not you're telling a story or you're telling an experience. And those two, in examples, Echo and Extracurricular Activities, those two are not... There's not one that's inherently better than the other. There are preferences. Some people prefer to read from the perspective of a character that's predetermined or are more well-defined, and other people prefer to basically be the character in their mind. But you have to basically decide that first in terms of coding. Now, when it comes to story, which I believe... Oh, no, I didn't actually... That was the next one, is define the character role as you or them. What I meant by make the main character make sense is that one of the big problems I had with Morinatsu came from the translation and the cultural boundary, which was the choices were not ones that I could empathize with or that I could understand because of the cultural boundary, as well as the language barrier. The translation wasn't great, but if your main character is saying stuff, reacting to stuff in a way that doesn't make sense, or the choices that come up do not make sense, then it's very disconnecting in a way. This is something that I kind of have a problem with in early editions of Repeat, actually. Yeah, a criticism for Shirokoi. Fucking rare. It's not really even his fault, because he started writing this shit like years ago. Hello, Redditito. Yes, I look weird. That has never not been the case. Early Repeat builds, John, or he's not actually named John, but the character that you play as Yuka, that's supposedly his main thing, his actual character. He was very quippy. Like, nothing caught him off guard. He always had a comeback. And that character is entertaining, but as a main character, it's not really something you can empathize with. And with that game, you're allowed to change the character, the name, but you also have the past referenced a good amount of times. So it's kind of hard to say that you are not Yuka, but you're you at the same time. It's a weird mix, and honestly, it's something that I would kind of like to see ironed out in future updates, is whether or not you get to make the character's name or not, whether you are playing as you or Yuka, stuff like that. That's an example of great story, not great, at least early on, execution into visual novel territory. But Shirokoi kind of gets a pass on that one because it was more of a passion project in the beginning in high school, and it's become something else. And it's still in development, obviously, so that's something that I'd probably discuss with him if he asked. I'm not going to just be like, hey, you know what's wrong with your game? But that is something that has kind of been gnawing at me. So make the character make sense. Define the character as you or them. The next one is, in terms of story, if it's supposed to be a branching paths visual novel, like most of them are, don't make the story too rigid or too loose. Basically, one problem I have with extracurricular activities is that the story feels very much like the back burner. And this, like I mentioned before, is not a problem. It's just something that I don't personally like. It's more indicative of the fact that it's a visual novel, almost dating sim kind of game. It's very slice of life. The emphasis is the characters as opposed to the story, because the story in and of itself is winding up dating someone on your tennis team. But the story comes from your interaction with the characters and what they bring to the table individually. But like in Echo, the overarching story is what's going on in the town of Echo and everything like that, and that's something that I personally like a little bit more. Neither one is wrong or right, but if in Echo you didn't get to choose anything, sometimes it would feel more like a slog, because it's like, well, what the fuck is even happening here? Or like it would feel like what you care about the story doesn't even matter. But in extracurricular activities, sometimes it feels like nothing relates to anything else, and that can be a bit. It feels a little too loose sometimes, but that's just me. And then, of course, the last two is that criticism is a good thing. You always want to take criticism to heart. Not just hate is not criticism. Actual constructive criticism. Learning what can be done better, what can be done differently, that type of thing. Toying around with different things, whether or not it's what you intended or not. Sometimes you find things that you'll wind up liking better just by playing around with it. But ultimately, if you are invested in your story and you believe your story is worth telling, then you should believe that your story is worth telling well. And that best telling will never be your first draft. Okay? If you are wanting to tell a story, it will never be the first take. It'll never be the first thing you write down. All the best novels have gone through many rewrites, edits, revisions, whole chunks taken out, whole things put in, all kinds of shit. Like, it's when it comes down to it, that's one of the things that, like, you see playing a game that's in production, is you see times where, like in a repeat, where the whole Samuel sex scene and all that stuff was just taken out, and Owen's Rot was completely redone, and Shirokoi was saying, like, he was sorry about that, and he was worried about it, but if he really is invested in the story, and given the amount of work he does on it, I would imagine he is, then the important thing is that it is worth telling well. And if he believes the best way to tell the story is by changing stuff, then that's what's going to happen. So don't be afraid to cut stuff. Don't be afraid to take chances. And don't ever think your first draft is the best one. Because if you got one draft in you, you got multiple ones. Cut content can be kind of frustrating. But imagine this. Like, if Repeat, was not released until it was done, you would have never known about the Samuel sex scene or any of that stuff, and you wouldn't have missed it. So why worry about it? Because it's not canon, it's not there anymore, and old builds still have it, so you can still enjoy it for what it was. But yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Owen Lorelei says, favorite fursuiter. My favorite fursuiter for a long time was Majira Strawberry, because that was really the first one I ever found. And then Jake the Fennec kind of made me realize he's kind of fucking boring. Like, they did a Bean Boozled challenge, which I do find to be an entertaining video, but it's like, why would you do that in fursuit? You can't see the expressions. Like, you can hear the voices and whatnot, and they have a chemistry that I enjoy, so I still like the video. It might be in my favorites list, but I think the video would have been better if they weren't in suit. But, so Majira Strawberry is no longer my favorite fursuiter. It moved then to Nas Hyena, because he's just such a positive motherfucking guy. Just holy shit. But then I started to roll back on watching these fursuiter videos, because I found a lot of them were doing the same shit. I'm still subscribed to Ace of Hearts Fox, which might be number 1. The only person that would possibly compete with Ace of Hearts Fox in my mind would be Jib Cody, which they do a lot more of their stuff on Twitter, and their animations are just so fucking adorable, and Jesus. It's really just the positivity and the cuteness that I really like, because if you have a cool, expensive, cute suit, but you're a shit person, then no. But yeah, the top 3 would definitely be number 3, Nas Hyena, number 2, Jib Cody, number 1, Ace of Hearts Fox. So yeah, there you go. My top 3 favorite fursuiters. I don't know why, for some reason I just never thought that would come up. Yay. I like the weird questions. Give me weird questions. Like, ask what my favorite fucking advertiser fucking commercial mascot is. I don't fucking know. Midakai says, I wonder if I can make a music track for Decalink to use on his end cards. For those who are watching the YouTube version and can't see the chat, 11 Bombs on there, otherwise known as CB4, the person who makes the end slate song, and I consider it to be my personal theme song. They've also made other songs for me in the past, and they're just wonderful. They were like, oh, a challenger, but now they were like, oh, they do go ahead. I'd like to hear what they make. So yeah, you have the blessing of the official channel musician, and absolutely, I mean, even Markiplier has different outro themes. If for someone who has an outro theme that's so well known, for like horror games, he has a different theme, and then for everyone else, it has a that one. I don't fucking know what it's called, but I have it on my phone because it's catchy as shit. So yeah, if you want to make a song? Absolutely. Make a song, send it to me. The email is on the channel. Let me fucking hear that stuff, and if I like it, then, yeah. Anyone who wants to make anything, be it a song, a picture, whatever you want, send it to me, and I will gladly listen, and if I want to use it, or if you want to see me try to use it, let me know, and we'll work something out, man. It'd be awesome. I'm so fucking grateful that anyone wants to make stuff for me or for the channel. Like, it's that kind of positive feedback that I've like never gotten before, and it feels amazing. So thank you very much. Spencer Colden says, do you think you are going to go back and try some of the EA routes after the art changes? And then they apologize for their previous comment, as that featured in the last Talking Back. We're not trying to be mean, they know. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back and do any routes just for the art change, but I do think I look forward to seeing them. But if there's no content changing other than just the art, I don't think that's enough to make a whole remake of a route for. But one thing about playing a game that's constantly being updated is sometimes they'll change file paths or whatever. Like, you'll see with when we buy the shirt for Grifter for Harold, some of the file extensions were all kind of fucked up, and the recommendation was to start a new file without the old save slots, so that the file paths can be new. And I'm like, some of these things I'm 20 days deep, and I'm like, I don't want to restart all that shit. I'd have to go back and remember each individual fucking choice I made. Are you shitting me? But eventually I probably will have to do that, so we'll see. But I'm not going to go back and restart a route just because the art changes, but I am looking forward to seeing them. Oh, dude! I just realized this. Oh, that works perfectly.
Bam says, which of the FNAF characters is your favorite and why?
You can see I got Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and up in the corner here's Bonnie. That's fucking ominous. I didn't realize that shit was back there. It's tough, but when I'm thinking about my favorite FNAF characters, I want to pick one that's like not a murderous, psychopathic fucking robot, but at the same time, those are the most fun. So I'd probably, I think I like Foxy the most. I mean, that's another furry picking Foxy. But no, seriously, like, he's in the first game, he was the most different. Oh, here we go. Oh, this last one. For those of a delicate sensibility, you might want to leave now. Son of Psyop says, what's your opinion on this? In case you don't know what this is, this is from a comedian based in the UK that taught their dog, I think what it was, I don't remember the full story. I remember Philip DeFranco covering it. Basically, I believe it was just to like piss off their girlfriend or something. They basically taught this pug to Ireland, was it? They basically taught this pug to do a dog equivalent of a Nazi salute. Yeah, that, I mean, that's kind of fucked up, but the real fucked up thing about this is that they're, like, getting arrested? I believe the status on this is that he did get convicted, but, I don't know that for certain. In fact, I'm gonna look it up just real quick. So basically, a man decided to, try to annoy his girlfriend by teaching her pug to respond to Nazi phrases and to raise his paw when told to salute. And he could be facing a year in prison for this because it was considered a hate crime. And what is my opinion on this? Okay, so it's dicey, isn't it? Because on one hand, or paw, depending, there's the whole freedom of speech thing, and apparently they took that into consideration when convicting him. I don't know. They said, like, freedom of speech is inherent with a responsibility, but see, this is a tough thing because there are limits on freedom of speech. You can't just say anything and get away with it. You can't run into a movie theater and scream fire. You can't elicit a riot. You can't hate crimes, hate speech, stuff like that. It's not allowed. The tough thing for this is, I mean, obviously, the dog's in no fault. Yeah, the dog is just doing as he's taught by someone who was fucking in charge of him. So it's like blaming the dog is fucking stupid. But I don't think anyone rationally is blaming the dog. The problem we're seeing here is that this is largely being touted as being the reason he was convicted was a lot of it came from the fact that it was considered, quote, grossly offensive, and it's really tough because when that video came out a while back of a guy who was walking around, I don't remember where he was, but he was walking around in a city, riding on the train and walking around with a Nazi armband on, and then he got punched in the face and knocked the fuck out. As you can probably guess from the fact that I started to laugh in the middle of that sentence, I watched that clip a lot. I don't revel in physical violence, but I mean, there's been no clearer synonymous group. There's been no group clearly more synonymous with the term villain and evil than the Nazis. Like, if you want to overly exaggerate the evilness of someone in a, like, it's so over the top to compare anyone to a Nazi that isn't in the ballpark, that calling him a Nazi is inherently kind of funny because of the fact that it's in such a grand comparison and contrast to the actually horrific act of the Nazis. Everyone, even in the court, is saying that they know it was intended to be a joke. The problem is coming from not anyone actually thinking that the guy is anti-Semitic, but instead from the fact that they believe the content of the joke is so offensive that it is classified as a hate crime. Now, let's take a quick look here. We'll Google it, because that's where all information is. Definition of hate crime. There you go. Now, this is being this person is being convicted in the UK, so this may or may not be a direct legal translation here, but according to Google, the definition of a hate crime is a crime motivated by racial, sexual, or other prejudice, typically one involving violence. Now, this, in my mind, means that there's no way in fuck that this is a hate crime. Just by that definition, because it was a joke motivated by a fucked up sense of humor. In the courts, people testified, the guy and the girlfriend both said that the guy isn't anti-Semitic, and that even I believe the judge was said that they know that it was intended as a joke, but a hate crime has to be motivated by a prejudice or some sort of hate. And the guy, if he really isn't anti-Semitic, then the joke is just trying to be overtly offensive. So he was trying to be offensive, but he wasn't trying to... I don't know. See, it's so fucking tough. My gut feeling is saying that this is fucking wrong. That him being convicted of a hate crime because he did a video joking about making a pug respond to Nazi stuff, like, I think that's ridiculous. I think real Nazism in any way should be fucking universally denounced. The trouble comes from how much you believe in the idea of an open and fair market of thought. Because if you truly believe in the idea of freedom of speech, you have to let people with such vastly different viewpoints from yours that they would possibly support stuff like Nazism or racism stuff, like, has to have equal opportunity to be spoken in terms of being presented as a valid argument. Now, if you use those as motivations for a crime, assault, verbal abuse, something like that, then that is absolutely a hate crime. But it just depends on how much you really believe in the idea of freedom of speech. Ultimately, I think my viewpoint on this is that the guy should not have been convicted, because if you limit what people can make jokes about, then you're limiting the ability for people to have nuanced opinions about tricky subjects. Because a nuanced opinion about something can include making humor out of something. But there also has to be a limit on the availability of offensive material, because, and that's where my mind draws a fucking blank, because if we limit offensive material, then who's deciding what is offensive? Like, obvious shit like racism, sexism, all that other stuff is obviously offensive and wrong. I don't know. Ultimately, my opinion on this very specific thing is that him getting convicted, possibly facing a year in prison for this, is fucking ludicrous. But it definitely is a very tricky subject. And the fact that y'all are switching topics on me in the comments probably means I should wrap this up. Thank you all very much for helping us get to 4,000 subscribers, because that is fucking incredible. I still can't believe it. It's blowing my goddamn mind. So thank you all very much for watching this, for watching anything ever, and I'll see you on the next one. If these start to happen too fast, I'll wind up only doing these every 200 subscribers, but I don't think we're at that point yet. So thank you all very much for watching this on YouTube, on the long version on Decker Jack, live on Twitch, or the edited down version on Decker Link. And I speak for the voices on my head when on the next my outro. On the next one, it will be the 4,100 subscriber special. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained up professional speaking for the voices on my head. When I say,
fare thee well.
Bye, everyone. God damn, this one was yammery, wasn't it?